Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Cho, and right behind me I just bought my 7th house subject to here in Las Vegas with my partner Brian Kao. And right here we have Ken and Martha, and I get questions all the time. If you're a brand new sub 2 student, how can you work with people that are experienced like me and Brian? So I'll take you into the house. Right here we have Ken and Martha. They just joined sub 2 about 3 weeks ago, and they just got access to the course just about a week ago, a few days ago.
Yep.
So do you want to tell us how you got into sub 2?
Okay.
And then how your experience has been so far?
Yeah, we follow Pace on Instagram and the socials, and basically we kept listening to what he was saying, and over when he was talking about these concepts, it kind of started to click and make sense.
Right.
So finally we were like, we've always been wanting to get into real estate.
Right.
We were in different businesses, but then we were like, you know what, one day we're gonna get into real estate. And then finally, I think one podcast, we're just like, let's do it, and we signed up, and here we are.
And the beauty about him joining sub 2 at this point in your career is you're semi-retired from your restaurant business. So right now, all you really need to do is network as many people as possible. So like if you network with me, if you network with Brian, people that are actively doing these kind of deals in sub 2, you won't even need to be cold calling or generating these deals. All you need to do is network and say, hey, do you got a deal? Because I got money to deploy. I have money that I need to spend on these rentals, because ultimately, like you told me earlier that you guys want to ultimately own real estate, because that's you guys want to go back to Mexico and retire. Yeah. This is the best way for you to get access to deals. Like last year in 2022, I bought 7 sub 2 deals, and all I did was literally just call my friends. Hey, do you have any sub 2 deals you have available? And all I did was find the deal, and somebody would bring me the deal, and I would call another sub 2 student. Hey, do you have money? So all you do is match the dots, and I was 21 at that time, so you could literally buy 7 sub 2 deals just without even trying. In addition to working with more experienced sub 2 students, Brian's going to explain 3 different ways that you can also plug yourself into the community.
Yeah, so one great way would be to, the first thing that you should do is figure out how you're going to generate leads. You always hear Pace say it, no leads, no business, right? And then the second thing that you should do is figure out what your actual avatar is. In the sub 2 Zoom vault, there's an avatar Zoom, 2 parts. I think it's like 12 hours, but after you watch that, you should have a pretty good direction of what avatar you want to be. And then the third one is just go in, hop on the Zooms, hang out with the family, and just start introducing yourself, getting to know people. When you hop on those Zooms, I think you should walk away with at least 10 new friends at a bare minimum every single time you hop on there.
If Ken and Martha, they just joined sub 2 like 3 weeks ago. So I think one way for you to get plugged in, or at least get your feet wet in the business, is for you to start calling for the people that have lists, for maybe people like myself or Brian, and say, hey, I'm dialing through this list, and say, hey, I have this homeowner that's interested in selling, but you don't really know where to go from there. So what you can do is stop exactly where you feel comfortable and say, hey, Kevin, I have this homeowner on 6412 Starling Mesa interested in selling the house. Can you hop on the phone call with me? And then I can hop on and take everything forward, and you will see exactly how I make the phone calls, how the contract is drafted up, how transaction coordination is done, how funding is lined up, and all the escrow process, because you're going to learn alongside me with all the email threads, text messages, phone calls. So that's one of the best ways for you to get plugged into the deal, and you get 50% of the ownership of the deal. So this is a house that I bought from another sub 2 student, kind of like they're brand new, kind of like how they just started, and they started calling my list, and I said, get whatever, just go through it and see what you get out of it, and if you get something out of it, just call me, and I'll help you along the way. So they call through the list. They probably 2 or 3 days later, they say, hey Kevin, I have a homeowner interested in selling the house, but they have no equity in this deal. So I hop on the phone call with them. I walk them through the whole paperwork. I literally text them, hey, say this verbatim, just copy and paste exactly what I'm telling you. And they went and did the negotiation for me. Well, I kind of did it, and they were the one who conveyed the message, and we ended up getting this deal under contract, and he made $5,000 within his first month in sub 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the beauty of this deal, of the house that we're actually standing in, it came from, all of it was because of sub 2. It came from Kevin, who was one of the first relationships I had when I joined sub 2, over a year ago. A deal was brought to another wholesaler within sub 2 to Kevin. Kevin brought me the deal. We acquired the funding for this property, and
From another sub 2 student.
We used a title and escrow company who was found by a sub 2 student. Right. This particular property was a sub 2 VA, and I think before we did this loan, this subject to transaction, there was no other title company that was willing to touch a VA sub 2 loan. So because of that relationship that we actually had with the sub 2 student, they actually went out, did the due diligence with the title company, and found out that, hey, we're actually ready and willing and can help you guys out with this sub 2 on a VA. So before that, there's nobody else that was willing to help us out.
The best part about it is we have a meetup tonight at 5 p.m. and I'm pretty sure the title company is sponsoring the event too. So literally everything from point A to point Z came from sub 2. So I think, Ken, as you're already somewhat retired, you guys are somewhat retired, and one of the best ways that you can provide value is to be the boots on the ground, right? So like I don't live here in Vegas, but I did a deal. This is actually my first time seeing the house. We bought this house like a month and a half ago. I saw the house just as when you saw the house.
Right.
So for me, like how you could bring value is, hey, I have time. I live locally here in Vegas, and I'll go see the house. I'll walk through the house, make sure everything is good before we go under contract. I'll take the pictures for you, and maybe even I can bring the funding, and I'll own the deal with you, and I will operate the whole operation, right?
Perfect.
So you can fund the deal. You can be the boots on the ground, call the list and generate the list for me, or you can even be a property management. I know that's not what you guys are here to do, but just to get yourself foot in the door.
I mean, we're willing to do anything. Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If we can learn more from the property management, we'll do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, just to recap, if you're a sub 2 student and you don't really know where to get started, the best way to get started is to at least plug in, like the way you reached out to me on my DM and very thoughtful. Like I said, that was a very thoughtful message. He sent me a long paragraph and saying, hey, I see you on Zooms all the time. I see that you're helping other students out all the time. I want to connect with you. And then stars lined up. I happened to be in Vegas, and then you came over, and now we're building a relationship. And now Ken is actually a restaurant owner that me and my other sub 2 students are going to go tomorrow night for dinner. I mean, this is literally like everything happened within the ecosystem of sub 2. So don't miss out on the potential that sub 2 can bring you. How can people get a hold of you if people want to send deals to you?
My Instagram handle is lvken, Ken Aoki, Aoki. But that's the best way. Instagram.
Right. And you got money that you want to just.
I've got money ready to go. I want to get deals going. I want a JV. I got boots on the ground in Vegas. I know Vegas. We've been here for 30 years. We run this town outside of real estate. So now we want to help run it inside of real estate.
Right.
So, yeah.
Very easily, you buy one sub 2 a month, and just within 2 years, you have minimum 24 doors, and you'd be off and gone in Mexico. Retired. So if you're a sub 2 student, you have money just like Ken. Make sure you take advantage and get to know the people in this group, because you're gonna have access to so many real estate opportunities that you won't even have. You'll run out of money before you actually have the opportunities. So that's how we got into sub 2. So if make sure you follow. And do you mind sharing your TikTok or?
Yeah, it's Las Vegas Top 5. So basically, it's just promoting the best restaurants in Vegas, and yeah.
Yes, and hook her up with free food. So join the link below, and you'll have access to 80,000 community members that can help you out with your deals, funding, finding you primary residence, whatever you may need. You'll find all the resources that you need in this real estate business.